Hey gang, it's JC and this is the Daily Dose for Friday, May 13th, 2011, a combined venture with Mind Active in beautiful downtown Brentwood. Terrific archives up at the top of the page there with the Wayback Machine and stuff like that. And then down below we have the Video Village, and we've had fun all this week celebrating the 27th anniversary of my arrival here in St. Louis, and we have another good one today which we'll talk about here in just a couple of seconds. Congratulations to our baseball team. I've been playing in the Men's Senior Baseball League. This is not softball, this is hardball, it's baseball. I've been playing for about 4 years. My buddy Bob Ramsey talked me into it, and a couple of years ago I got my first complete game win in 37 years, and so now I'm back to playing and everything. They had a great game last night. I didn't get home until like midnight. We had an 8:45 game, very slow game. We won big time, and JC with 7 strikeouts, 4 hits. What else we got here? That was 1 for 3, 1 walk. Very good outing. You're going to hear me talk about this all summer long because I've been playing 4 years, and this is the best team we've ever had in that 4 years. Very, very excited about the 52 Sharks, as we call them. Speaking of baseball, you got this George Vesey, all right? George has written this book. This is not the book. I still haven't gotten a copy of the book, George. But this is this love letter to Stan Musial. This is the book that made headlines about 6 weeks ago when it was revealed in here, and some of the advanced stuff that they leak out to the press to promote the book, that Stan Musial has Alzheimer's disease. So George Vesey, New York Times sports writer, was in town yesterday, and let me just tell you a little story here. KMOX had an event at the Missouri Athletic Club 2 days ago with George Vesey, Charlie Brennan's Book of the Month Club, okay? So they have about 200 people. They give them free coffee in Danish, 2-hour broadcast, 50,000 watt radio station KMOX. They promoted the hell out of it, by the way. They sold 88 books. 88. Not bad. I guess that's not terrible. So last night, after being on KTRS, George Vesey shows up at O.B. Clark's. And you couldn't get near the place, by the way, and they sold 120 books. KMOX 88, KTRS 120. I have long suspected that Charlie and his pretty little book club is being made into something much larger than it actually is, and it appears I'm right, at least this time. All right, and congratulations to Tom Schwartz, my buddy, and everybody who put that event together at O.B. Clark's. I stopped in. McGraw-Millhaven was there, so I'm carrying out, I think it was like 4 books. All right, let's move on here. We are celebrating 27th anniversary of the showgram. My arrival here in St. Louis goes way, way back. And it was May of 1984, and I remember everything about my arrival in St. Louis back in May of 1984. I've talked about the fact that the radio station stuck me in the airport Marriott and just said, listen to radio here in St. Louis for 3 days. We're going to come and get you after 3 days, and then we're going to talk. And so I sat at the airport Marriott and just listened to radio for 3 days. I barely even left the place because I didn't know where I was going. I'd never been to St. Louis in my life. But I'm from Chicago, and I love the Midwest, and I'd been out east for a couple of years in some small cow towns and stuff like that. So I jumped at the opportunity to come to St. Louis, and as you know, the rest is history. Here we are 27 years later, and it's been a rocky ride, but it's also been a fun, exciting ride. Made a lot of money, had a lot of success, ended up not only meeting and being able to interview, but actually in some cases getting to actually be friends with people who were my childhood heroes. I mean, sports figures, the Lou Brocks and the Bob Gibsons of the world, the show business people, the entertainers and stuff like that. Super Dave Osborne, who was a writer on the old Smothers Brothers Comedy Hour back in the late 1960s. And I just idolized these guys, and now I can call them friends. This has been a great, great time. I get irritated when there are people in this town who try to make me and make us out to be something other than we are. I think there's a lot of jealousy involved, and I understand that, but it's still lying when you do it. So, but anyhow, it's been a very, very interesting ride. Almost left St. Louis a couple of times, but we've been here for, it's going to be going on 3 decades pretty soon, and I am appalled by what has happened to the broadcasting industry. The people who run the radio industry have damn near killed it by making every wrong decision you could possibly make. What is left of the broadcasting industry ain't much. And They were just trying to make the best out of a bad situation right now and hoping that somehow the pendulum swings back and that the people who operate radio stations understand that you have to hire entertainers, you have to hire people who are compelling to listen to, and then you got to let them just go. And all this corporate hoo-ha and things that are over-researched, and then the research is over-researched, and then that research is over-researched, have, as I said, damn near ruined the business. So we're just holding on for dear life and hoping that something changes down the road. We'll see what happens. All right. Are you keeping track of this story? This is a weird one. Out in Las Vegas, there's a lawsuit that's been filed because somebody gave somebody herpes. And it's interesting because the person named in the lawsuit was described as having, quote, appeared widely on television and film and is least worth $100 million. So somebody put together a list of celebrities who were in Las Vegas at the time the lawsuit was filed. Charlie Sheen, by the way, is not on the list. However, Steven Tyler is, Larry David, Chris Tucker, Spike Lee, Jamie Foxx, Maury Povich. I'd say that's your man. Ryan Reynolds, Russell Brand, could be him too. Vin Diesel, Tyler Perry, Jack Black, Tim Allen, John Travolta, Keith Urban, Alan Jackson, Brad Paisley, Toby Keith, Michael Jordan, Drew Brees, Wayne Gretzky, Mario Lemieux, Ken Griffey Jr., Greg Maddux, Mike Piazza, and John Smoltz. Somebody is in a peck of trouble. Hollywood Reporter, the magazine out in Los Angeles that is an industry trade paper, says that Ashton Kutcher is going to be replacing Charlie Sheen on 2.5 Men. We'll add that to the latest heap of rumors. Yesterday we had one about the fact that Hugh Grant apparently came very, very close to taking the gig. When they bounced Pia off of American Idol, I said, that's it. I've been watching American Idol for 10 years, but I give up because the show has jumped the shark now. And I stopped watching. And I have stopped watching. I haven't watched any of it. I've only heard the rumors, and last night they sent home James Durbin, the only other guy that was a legitimate choice for this year's American Idol, and he got bounced last night. You know who's going to win this? You know who's going to win this? That country... A New York band called Cassettes Won't Listen planned on calling their new album Kevin Spacey. Kevin Spacey heard about it, and he said, I don't think so, guys. Cease and desist. Officials from the Newport Beach Film Festival in California plan to sue Andy Dick. It seems he had a little problem with his bladder. He urinated on a display booth and then ended up tearing it down. That happened just a few days before Andy was arrested for being drunk and disorderly at a restaurant in Temecula, California. How about 28-year-old Kristen Macias of Gardner, Missouri? Nothing like more attention for the great state of Missouri with its puppy mills and meth labs and gonorrhea. The woman was arrested for leaving her 9-month-old baby in the car alone, 90 degrees. She tried to go into a bar, and by the way, did I mention she was topless? Thank you for keeping the state of Missouri on the national in the national limelight. Wow. Okay. My daughter turned 18 years old last week, and this weekend she's graduating from high school. I'm so proud of Addison Clark Corcoran. Honey, congratulations. Your dad loves you, and you're a great kid, and just this is a great time to be alive. So happy birthday and happy graduation to my oldest daughter, and boy, sometimes it's just hard to believe. This is like an out-of-body experience, folks. I'm sure you're familiar with it. But when it happens to you, there's just no way to describe what the feeling is like. All right, JC's Eye Candy today. I just figured since this is the last day of the 27th anniversary celebration that we would go back to where it all began when John Hewlett and JC Corcoran took over the old morning show at KSHE Radio. There it is right there. There's the picture that they shot. I'm not sure, I think Susie Gorman took this shot. I'm pretty sure. And I'm surprised she let us get away with this because Susie is pretty adamant about people looking good before they have their pictures taken. And as Laurie Mack has always said, J.C. Corcoran and John Hewlett, possibly the only two men whose looks actually improved with hair loss. So, miss you, Johnny. Miss you, Laurie. Carl, too, the rest of the gang. But, time marches on. Life goes on. You make the best of what you got, and that's where we are right now. That's it. JC's Daily Dose for Friday, May 13th, 2011, a combined venture with Mind Active in beautiful downtown Brentwood. Thanks, everybody, for the kind words on the 27th anniversary. Everything goes back to normal on Monday on the Big 550 KTRS, where Trish and I are there every day from 10 in the morning until 1 o'clock. In the meantime, we've beaten this one to death. Have a good one. See you later. Bye.